Welcome to the Positivity Room, where the good vibes grow.
What's up? Welcome to the Pure Positivity Podcast. My name is Bobby. We have my wife, Eden.
Hello.
We got our Chihuahuas, our Australian Shepherd, our German Shepherd, cats at home. But the star of the show wants to say hello. This is Carlito. Yes, sir. He's telling you, come join us at Pure Positivity, where we talk about all the things related to the growing mirror between human wellness and pet wellness. Today, we have an awesome show for you. We have Caleb with Orozona Oils. We're going to talk a little bit about modern pet health, a little bit of nervous system regulation, some full spectrum CBD, the entourage effect, and the mirror between human wellness, like I talked about, and pet wellness. So, Caleb, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're building over there with Orozona Oils?
Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to do just that. Yeah, we're super excited about what we're up to here at Orozona Oils. My wife is my partner in this venture. She's not here with me today, but she's with us in spirit, but unable to attend. But Talitha and I have been in the wellness space for a decade now, in CBD in particular. About 6 years ago, had the opportunity to branch off and start our own expression in the hemp world, which has been amazing. It's been a wild journey. I mean, talk about, taking a risk when we started this at the height of 2020, and here we are 6 years later, with a company that is actually doing what we set out to do, which is to transform lives, using natural wellness as our approach. And we are a one-string fiddle. There's so many approaches to natural wellness in this atmosphere, this environment, whether human or pet. But we're here to just sing one song, and that is that hemp extract, when it's delivered in a proper form, has the power to balance your central nervous system. And that's the long and short of it. And it does that by providing cellular nutrition across the entire spectrum of your body. Every system function of the body is made of cells which are nourished by hemp, and CBD is the big player in hemp, but hemp as a general expression for the entourage that is present, it's amazing for cellular health. And it's actually quite unique in that regard for providing cellular health. So yeah, our mission, guys, is to transform lives, reintroducing hemp into the diet of both humans and their pets, whether they're small pets like cats, or even chickens and ducks, or clear up to livestock. We've had an experience with every single one of those, including a 16-foot long python we treated for a tumor at one point in time, in our journey here with hemp. And it's just an amazing substance that has been absent from our diet since the 30s, essentially, late 30s. And we now have the opportunity to see that reintroduced into our lifestyles. And the benefits are manifold. And it's just awesome from our perspective to be able to provide something to an end user and then sit back and watch the results and just go, yep, see, I told you. Just try it, and see what happens. I dare you. Just see what happens.
Right.
It really is. It really is an amazing. It's just a great instrument or tool to like add into the pocket. And I think that one thing I definitely wanted to touch on first is that we love lifting up local. So go Arizona. You guys are from here in the local Arizona area as well. So just wanted to touch on that.
Cheers. Thank you. I appreciate you bringing attention to that. Yeah. And it is kind of built into the name, as well as the concept of a rich living, an abundant life in health and in all things living, right? So, which is oro. Oro means gold in Spanish. So we have this idea of gold being the highest standard, right? And golden solutions is kind of a slogan we use, that ties into the name Orozona. So the golden zone is what the name really means. And that's our intention, is to help people and their pets raise their awareness to a place of a higher standard, which is represented by gold.
That's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. I like the name a lot too.
very
Um,
aligned with.
sure.
Awesome.
I think
We
that
have our tribe, don't we?
Yes.
we got a big thing going here in Arizona, honestly, with the pet wellness industry. I'm pretty proud of that. So, just lifting up local, collaborating, getting it out
Yeah.
there. It's what it's all about. So,
Awesome. Yeah.
I love it. And I think that like one of the things we first like kind of we bonded over was like because you've been in here in the positivity room. So welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
uh,
good to be back.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love
And
the wall in the background, by the way. That's awesome.
thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you. We put it up ourselves. We're also like husband and wife only. So it's
Yep.
just us.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's back to the roots. I love it.
Right on it.
Yeah.
Elbow grease and all that. So,
Yeah.
which, when you do work a lot in your life, like we have, and, we've put in the time, there's some pains, aches and pains that happen, injuries that happen. And I think a lot of people, they're looking for like this pharmaceutical certainty in something that is relational. And I think that's what we were bonding over when you came into to the shop is like, CBD being one of those things that's relational with the body and you kind of learn how to use it like sort of like an instrument. You don't just pick it up and you know everything about it. It's just you learn a little bit about it each time. Would you say that's kind of like how it is?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it really is symphonic when you're using something like a full spectrum hemp extract that's going to touch on, all of the key areas that need massaging in our experience. So, there's the lipids and the vitamin E's, and there's the major and minor cannabinoids, as well as things like the terpenes, the flavor and aroma profiles that also have healing properties that, in our estimation, really shouldn't be removed. They should be retained. But most companies are using highly refined distillates and isolates that take all that away for the favor, in favor of making it taste like what they want it to taste like instead of what hemp tastes like.
Yeah,
So,
Right.
yeah. Well, and I do think that that's definitely something I want to touch on because I think there's a lot of fear, around these type of things. Because
mhm.
obviously, in a being that can't respond with vocal communication, we don't want to overdo or hurt anything. And so, but either way, I think that it's helping in so many different ways. And then the people being scared about it, you just have to jump in and learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that once people understand that our bodies are built for this. And when I say our bodies, I'm referring to every creature on earth with a spine is built to receive cannabinoids. We have an endocannabinoid system that is built for fuel, and our bodies produce some of it, but not really enough of it. And that's the issue here. Is that's where it becomes this relationship where you figure out, well, how much fuel does my system need to regulate my my physiological being, my emotional being, all of it is affected. This does work on a mental level, so we're involving the soul, right? And that is your emotions, your ability to have positive and good emotions and balance the negative ones. Endocannabinoid system is built to bring balance. And so when we're having emotional imbalances, whether it's anxiety or, whether it's fears, these are all emotional responses that actually can be governed, if you will, if we're feeding the endocannabinoid system, which is going to help to bring calmness and balance. That's its job across the body. And so if your imbalance is anxiety, then it's going to bring balance to that. If your anxiety, or excuse me, if your imbalance is chronic pain in your physical body, then CBD or hemp extract, the constituents found in the hemp plant, will seek to bring balance to that extreme pain. And so that's the beauty of it is we've got this system designed to bring balance to the central nervous system, which basically is everything, right? And so the problem is in modern living, we've been emaciating this system and not just draining it of fuel, but not even providing it fuel. If you think of
Yeah.
up until the 30s, hemp was grown on farms. It was grown all over Kentucky and North Carolina in this country, let alone in other countries and in India and, all kinds of places. This plant has been on the surface of the earth for thousands of years. And it's been included in mankind's diet and it's been doing what it's supposed to do, which is bring balance. And all of a sudden in the 30s in this country, it gets shut off, and you can make your own implications about what happens next with our physical health in this country since then. Needless to say, here we have the opportunity to use it again, and I see it as a golden opportunity to raise our standard to a higher level. And so we should all be using it. We should all be grazing on this stuff, however we can get it. The best form of it,
Yeah.
in my opinion, the most readily available for our body is in an oil-based uh, concoction. In our case, it's two oils put together, and that's it. The hemp extract as it is derived from the plant with minimal exposure to refinement, and then a wonderful delivery oil, and that's it. And the body says, yes, I know what to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely respect that philosophy of just like minimal ingredients. That's totally something we just love it because when you use cranberry seed oil, which is very odd for not. I don't know of any other CBD companies
No.
using that as a carrier oil. So
I love
um, we really love that as an option. And can you just speak a little bit more about what your selections as far as why you chose those carrier oils and quality and what you do?
Yeah. So I mentioned that Orozona Oils got started about 6 years ago. So just one half a chapter before that, um, we were in deep with another company, and I was really seeing the trend. We'd be going to trade shows and places like this, and I'd see, what was up and coming, and the trend was going towards this what I call junk food CBD, and it was highly refined CBD that was put into lollipops and into candy bars and into all kinds of crazy things. It's like carcinogenic sugar and healing hemp. It's like I don't get it. But that was the industry trend, so that you could find it at Circle K or whatever convenience store was nearest you. And you started seeing banners on gas station shops about advertising CBD, and I'm going, oh no, this is not good. And so at that point, we decided if we were going to continue in this market, it was going to be to retain the strongest voice for hemp that we could provide it. Without the adulteration, without the lust for money. We are a mom and pop. We are not a corporation. We're not owned by a group of investors who say, bottom line only. We're a mom and pop who care about seeing lives positively affected by what we're doing while we're spending time on this planet. you know, and this is a way that we found to do it. And we've seen consistent results with it, from the human sector to the pet sector, like I said, across the board. Um, we're confident that if someone sticks with this long enough, they'll see the benefits of a hemp extract on a daily diet, feeding this endocannabinoid system that's built to bring balance to your body and your mind, your emotions. So regarding those delivery oils, the popular one, of course, is the coconut MCT. And it is a good one. I mean, there's some fantastic qualities to coconut oil. I mean, it's antiviral, it's antifungal, it's antibacterial, and it fights candida, and it's good for your brain, and all this stuff, and it helps build your immune system. And this is all a part of what needs to be happening on a daily basis, right? Um, it has, a good high quality of caprylic and capric acid, so you get the energy uptake, and it lingers and does its work. And it's a really good oil. But the one that really has been gaining more traction is the cranberry seed, like you mentioned. And this is not a seed oil when you think of like sunflower seed or safflower seed or some of these seeds that we know are toxic. That's not what this is. This is a cold
good
pressed seed.
clarification there.
Yeah, just to make it clear, yeah, because this is a cold pressed seed that we don't, but the producers of this squeeze seeds and release all of these wonderful benefits that are super concentrated in the cranberry seed, which are super super small. So it takes a truckload of cranberries to create a cranberry seed oil, which is domestically cultivated. You may be interested to know that, and it is certified organic. It is not cheap. Um, but we make it available at the same price as our coconut oil, which is not as expensive. We take the hit on that, but we do that to align with our philosophy of simplicity. And we don't want pricing all over the board. We don't want product options all over the board. Let's just keep it simple. So, in any case, the cranberry seed oil is a super powerful antioxidant. It's a super powerful antihistamine. So, we're seeing a lot of pet parents coming to the cranberry seed products to assist in dealing with allergies and histamine storms. For in all kinds of manifestations, whether topical, like hot spots or itchy spots, or digestive issues, whatever allergic response they're observing. The histamine or the antihistamine properties in the cranberry seed oil go to work on a cellular level and help to battle that stuff, which is super cool because so many pets struggle with allergies. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's also a natural anti-inflammatory, and it strengthens bones. It lowers cholesterol. It's considered a healthy fat. It's great for the heart, and we all know it supports urinary tract health. So we see a lot of cat parents using the cranberry seed to assist in that because cats are prone to that. Another interesting thing is it combats acne and eczema. If you look up cranberry seed oil, probably I don't know what percentage, but a high percentage of the products you'll find will be skincare products.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know.
Mhm.
So that being said, our products are intended to be ingested, but you can certainly use all of them topically. And when I have a topical issue, like I just cut the dickens out of my finger the other day, and I went for my cranberry seed oil and just put a drop of it on and then put my Band-Aid on. And I'm a week later and my skin is completely healed over. And it was a big gash. It was a pea-sized gash out of the tip of my finger. Like I can't play guitar kind of gash, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And a
yeah.
little bit of
That's no fun.
no, that's not good for anybody. So I put literally one drop of the oil on it, put the Band-Aid on it, just forget about it for a little while and do it again later when the Band-Aid needs changed. And that's my go-to for any kind of skin issue. Um, and it should be the same for pets too. We just had a fantastic testimonial come in last week from a gal who you guys know actually, who makes these beautiful collars down in Chandler. And her dog had had a horrible um, problem going on with dry skin on the top of one of her paws. It's been going on for months and months, and the owner of the dog has been trying all sorts of things, other CBDs included, to try to figure out how to manage this thing. And we gave her a bottle of our 1,000 milligram cranberry, and she started inconsistently, in her words, applying this to that paw. And about 2 weeks later, she sends me a picture, and that thing's almost healed. And she's like,
That's awesome.
I'm a total believer now.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
story is completely aligned as I just met up with this person. Pretty sure it's the same story.
Kona
Yeah.
Dogwear, shout
Kona
out.
Thank
Dogwear
you,
for,
Amber.
yeah, our
Yeah.
local business.
Yeah, it's
Yep,
legit.
it's really
Did she
cool.
show you the
And
picture?
we were talking about your oils there, and she mentioned the story. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just thought it was so cool because we were like, she was like, we're both
That was
like
so
never
cool.
thought about topical, and it's like no wonder, no kidding.
Yeah, well, I think she was saying something about her dog not really wanting to take things internally, and we're saying, well, don't make it, just put it
Yeah,
right on the paw, and so it'll lick it off and it will penetrate transdermally right at the area. So you're, boom, boom.
double benefit.
You'll want to.
Totally awesome.
I think that I mean we talk about touch a lot here, with what we do, and just like kind of like how far human beings have gotten away from touch in general, but like how much we could be incorporating more touch into our lives with our pets. And so we actually love to take a little bit of CBD and I'll put it on my finger like a drop, and I go into like I do lymphatic massage protocol where I kind of just go in little parts of the body and just do like little massages, and they just like melt into it. You know what I
They
mean? And it's
do.
like it's a very different type of connection than just a regular petting or regular rub. It just kind of they're a little bit more susceptible to it in a way, just more in touch with it. And I know dogs do have a lot more cannabinoid receptors. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I can't speak to that 100%, but I know that they're more sensitive than we are. You know,
Yeah, and they're more like they have more endocannabinoid. Like I think I read this that they just that's why they used to apparently test like THC with dogs. Like I heard this through Dr. Rob. He was on our show and he was talking about how they used to literally police would use like dogs to test for if this was THC or whatever back in the day. I was like, well, that's pretty wild.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the touch thing, I was sitting here thinking about it today, and like just us human beings, how we should be hugging each other more or touching each other more with intimacy, but not in like the sexual
Right.
way or whatever this taboo situation is in our society. But I was thinking about hugs synergetically with CBD.
I love it. CBD kind of acts as a cellular communication device, and kind of one of the ways I envision that and think of that and try to make that make sense to me is it's like a plasma, and energy, electricity will flow through a plasma more efficiently than the than a vacuum or the lack of a plasma. Or I think of, the bolt of electricity will transfer electricity further if it's hitting water, and it goes further through water. And so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you add the CBD in it, and it becomes this vehicle that cellular information can travel through more readily. And certainly
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
one another, but cell to cell within one's own being. But certainly there's a power in transfer, whether one to another or one to a
Yes.
pet. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Also creating the terrain, in the body, creating conditions in the body. I mean, they've proven it, physiologically or whatever it is that, our bodies are doing a lot when we hug each other,
Yeah.
parasympathetically, fight or flight, all those things. When the body is able to calm and breathe better and open up more than a product like a
Yeah.
CBD that can get in there, and it just feels like it would like open
Yeah,
it up.
yeah, yeah. It lubricates the whole situation in a positive sense, right? It just makes it
Right.
happen easier,
Right. Yeah.
and it's an amazing thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful point. And to that, I've got a customer who uses our 1,000 milligram coconut on her small dog. It's like the size of a Chihuahua, 18-year-old dog with bone spines and bone spurs, excuse me, and a lot of pain. Had been on pharmaceuticals and just began to refuse everything. So they tried our CBD, refused CBD. The dog didn't want anything, so she began just applying it right on his back. She put it on her hands and rub him and give him a massage and put it on him. He's doing better now than he had been years ago. He had this decline, and now he's coming
Oh,
back up. She's like, "Oh my gosh, my dog's never going to die." I'm like, "This is great."
That's great. I love
that's
that.
awesome.
So would you say that like for the folks out there who have never tried any CBD before and they're like wanting to, like on the fence about it, like topical is a great way to start, I would say,
Well, it
right?
is. It is certainly kind of a timid way to start, um,
Yeah.
because it's not really going to do its finest work. It will work locally, but it doesn't get into the bloodstream the same way that ingesting it would be. Or we'll get into it. So really, that is I mean, if you want to hear the way I like to take it, and I think is the best, for a human, I'll put it in my mouth and I'll hold it under my tongue. I'll swish it all around. I'll get it on my gums, and I'll hold it there for a while, and then I'll swallow it. And I let it kind of transdermally penetrate my gums, which is a powerful transformation, a transfer area of the body. Just get it on my cheeks, just let it transdermally penetrate there, and then ingest it. So I'm kind of getting the best of both worlds there. With a pet, you don't really have that ability to regulate that. So the main thing is just get it into their mouth and let them ingest it. Um, but if they ingest it, then it will get into the bloodstream. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's going to go to work in a more efficient way than if you're just putting it on the skin. Um, Putting it on the skin will work in a local area, like Amber's story. We saw transformation, a radical transformation, just by topical treatment. But that was where the severe imbalance was, so it kind of made sense to approach it that way, also. Which, if we're
Right.
talking about a person or an animal who has arthritis, absolutely topically, approach it
Yep.
topically you know. But
Yep.
don't be afraid to take it internally, because your body is built for this. Your animals, your pet's body is built to receive this. It's just been depleted of it. It's been removed from our food source since the
Yeah.
30s, and it's now back in our food source. So now it becomes an issue of finding the right food source, just like when we're out there at the grocery store.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
No, that makes sense. You touched on, anxiety, like in us, and inflammation, nervous system regulation, hypervigilance, and even chronic stress, like all these things. Would you say that you've noticed a lot of this is kind of a mirrored situation in our pets?
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in my 10, 11 years in the pet space, the number one complaint from pet parents is anxiety. Number two, I would
Yeah,
say close behind it is cancer. It really
that's so
is.
sad.
Both of those are things that can be regulated by the endocannabinoid system. And if people would just do it, they would see that there really is a way to benefit your pet's longevity and quality of life, whether it's at the end of the life or the beginning or the middle. It doesn't matter. We're talking about increasing quality of life, and who doesn't want that, right? For themselves or anyone they love, you know? So that's really what this is all about, is increasing the quality of life. And so uh, it's a rare opportunity right now that we have, actually. We are facing legislation in this country that could take this opportunity away from folks like me. Hopefully it gets turned around. If it doesn't, you can be assured that we'll remain in this space with the very best of what's still available to us. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, there is kind of a dark side of the development of hemp into the mainstream. And, you can make your own assertions and assumptions about what those may be. But we're holding the space for what we can
Yeah.
right now. And what we can hold the space for is what we're believing is the absolute best. We've seen the results over and over, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, the animals don't have a placebo effect, and so that's where it's a very clear thing that it works. And so I think that's where humans even
Yeah.
listen to their animal on that. So I'm hoping that this legislation, keeps it safe for
yeah,
everybody.
Yeah.
exactly.
And you stay in business because
It's the
that's
most humane thing to do, for all
Yeah.
creatures. It really is, and you're right. It does take consistency. That's one of the places people get it wrong, is they briefly will try a CBD of some kind, whether it's the convenience store CBD or whether it's something like ours. They'll try it for a short time and they won't see the results that they're looking for, and so they'll walk away with the conclusion that CBD doesn't work. And that's
Right.
an unfortunate conclusion, and in my experience, it's inaccurate. You know, um,
Yeah.
yeah.
so the way
Yep.
to avoid that situation is to utilize a health food CBD. Hey, buddy, welcome to the party.
I know everybody's trying to join the party.
Good.
Hi, sweetheart. Oh, that's
Go
Opal.
make your
Hi,
way.
hi, sweet.
That's OP. Yeah.
Um, anyway, yeah, we all should be utilizing this. And I forgot where I was exactly.
No, you're good. You were talking about kind of just how
Sorry.
saturated the market got with just kind of like all the Circle K stuff, whatever. Not
Right.
anything against Circle K or any of these people trying to make a
No.
buck or anything, but you saturate the market with just all this incredible
Well,
array of quality of stuff, right? And then people can't seek out the good stuff. And when they do, then they hear the real price of it and then they're balking
There's
extra
that,
too, right?
and they approach it differently than I believe they should. They approach it as if it's an episodic medicine. Like you might go for an ibuprofen if you've got a horrible headache, that kind of a thing. Like a
Like a
pharmaceutical, yeah.
pharmaceutical.
And really it should be
Yeah.
approached like it's a daily nutrition. So from our perspective, we view it as a fuel, like I mentioned before, and fuel gets used up. So fuel needs to be replenished.
Yeah.
Unlike a pharmaceutical that we're going to use for extreme situations or for very, very specific situations. This is for all situations because we're feeding a system that governs all situations, right? Governs every system of the body and,
Yeah.
and provides nutrition to every cell of the body. So that's really the whole premise, is this is not a medicine. And people get it wrong by approaching it like a medicine, and they try a one and done approach, and that's not what this is. So of course it's not going to work.
No, it's an instrument, like we talked about. It's like it's an instrument. And then what I really want to get into, I've been wanting to talk about this the whole show, is the entourage effect. We
Yeah.
started talking about it a little bit, but I think we can do this in a way that helps people understand a little bit more, and then understand that it's about your body. It's not about what works for everybody. You know, broad spectrum might work for you, isolates might work for you, whatever those things are. But to understand completely what a full spectrum CBD is versus a broad spectrum is a great way to, like, you know, get that out there and then explain what the entourage effect is inside of a full
Awesome. Yeah, I
spectrum
love it. That's
CBD.
great. So there are various degrees of exposure to refinement that the hemp plant will go through. So you take this lipid-rich, beautiful green plant that's coming out of the ground with all sorts of constituents in it as it is a living thing. And then we refine elements of that away in order to wind up with a product that we can mix with other things and utilize as an end result. So the question then becomes, well, what degree of refinement are we working with? So at the very far end of the refinement is isolate, CBD isolate or isolated CBD. And you can imagine that as a white water soluble powder because that's what it is. It doesn't taste like anything or smell like anything. It will be just another ingredient like flour or sugar or salt in whatever you want to make. And you can make it taste like whatever. You can put it in other oils. You can put it in cranberry seed oil, and call it you could call it exactly what I call mine, but you can't call it full spectrum hemp extract. You can call it CBD. You don't even have to say isolate.
Oh,
Hmm.
so labeling things are obviously in that industry as well. Labeling restrictions
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
lack
yeah.
thereof.
So most people
Yeah.
don't understand that most of the products out there are CBD isolate, and I equate isolate with junk food. It's like white bread. And I often say it's like trying to eat hot dog buns to get healthy instead of a sprouted grain Ezekiel bread if you're eating for health, right? And so,
Can there be a use for that type of isolate for some people? And is there some that are really good
um,
or?
yes, it would be viewed as more of a pharmaceutical approach, closer to a medicine than a food nutrition, right?
Makes sense.
I can tell you in my experience that we were working with a severe epileptic and who is an adult epileptic, beyond our age, probably middle 50s, who, wearing a helmet, falling down the stairs due to violent epileptic episodes, dozens a day. And we started providing him with a 5,000 milligram in coconut oil because coconut's good for the brain, and this is a brain issue. Um, and we saw his violent grand mal seizures reduced by 2/3 just using our products. And his
Wow.
parents, adult parents caring for him, elderly parents caring for their adult epileptic son, were thrilled at the results. But they were still a part of the existing system, who then decided that he should get on the only FDA regulated CBD, which is CBD isolate, put out by a company called GW Pharmaceuticals from England, and they got him on their product called Epidiolex, and it did not have the same results, and the seizures returned. It controlled them to a
Wow.
level, but not the
Wow.
same level that ours did. But he remained under the care of this doctor, and they never did return to our protocol, which was unfortunate because we really were seeing results that were encouraging. You know.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah,
insurance,
you
of
know,
course,
the
it's
drill.
just a,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's
Aw.
all part of all of that.
Yeah. So that's kind of where isolate
Yeah,
falls. And then, yeah. And then what, like kind of at the middle of the
yeah,
road
middle
is
of the
like a
road.
broad
Well,
spectrum.
middle of the road would be a distillate, and distillates can be there's a variety there of exposure to refinements. Broad spectrum would be when you have removed all of the THC to what we call non-detectable levels, and that would be considered a broad spectrum. Full spectrum would then be including trace amounts of THC up to our federal accepted limit of 0.3%. Um, as well as minor cannabinoids. Again, the terpenes, other amino acids, and lipids are going to be present in that full spectrum, in my opinion. Now, the industry doesn't necessarily say that those lipids and amino acids and fatty acids and all that, the cannabinoids and the terpenes, excuse me, not the cannabinoids. Cannabinoids would need to be there, but not the terpenes in order to be considered a full spectrum by the industry. And to me, that's not a high enough standard. We need, if it's going to be a full spectrum, it's got to have as much of what was present in that plant as possible. And that's where we see this entourage effect take place. And that is kind of the sum of all parts are greater than the whole effect. If you've probably heard that expression, and I often say it's like having a player on every position of the baseball field instead of just a pitcher. Just a pitcher would be CBD
Yeah,
isolate,
that makes yeah.
right? Broad spectrum would be
Yep.
just the
Right.
pitcher and
Yeah.
the first, second, third baseman, right? And the catcher. Full spectrum is going to have a position filled everywhere. And so that's what we're after is let's have every
Yeah,
position
yeah.
filled that we can. If we're going to take the time and the money to deal with this and to incorporate this in our daily life, let's make sure we're going to get the very best
Mhm.
thing we can. Somebody, a play on every position. So that's what full spectrum does. And
The
when you
full
have
orchestra.
a player on every position, at every position, they work together to create something that is impossible for any one of them to be gone from, right? That needs all of them for what happens to happen, right? Does that make sense? So, and you could think of that
Yeah,
with any kind of
that makes sense a
sports
lot.
team or any, dance troupe or whatever. It takes all of them. Think of a symphony. That's the example I like best.
Yeah,
Being a musician,
Mm.
you
yeah,
can't just have,
yeah,
the bass instruments play the whole song. You need to have the soprano instruments, You've got to have the whole mix of what's
yeah,
going
yeah,
on in music to really feel satisfied listening to music. So it's the same philosophy with an
yeah, yeah.
entourage
That
effect
makes sense.
in a full spectrum hemp extract.
Totally makes sense. And I mean, that was something that I didn't know about when I first started using CBD. Chronic pain, spondylo type stuff with my situation, and nothing has really helped ever. All the things they want me to do except for CBD, but it did take me some time to figure out what worked with my system. And I'm sure, others that are thinking about this could understand that it might take some time to as well. Maybe a broad spectrum works really well for them. It just depends on how sensitive their system is to THC or things like that. But I've also my own experience was full spectrum is the only one that works for my pain in my situation. But the ones that are wanting to try your for their pets, where
Well,
do you
for
say they
most pets,
start?
we see them come in at the 500 milligram level, and they'll take, 1 to 2 milligrams daily, something like that, depending on what we're dealing with. Really, we approach the idea of dosing based on either the condition, the severity of the condition, or the weight of the creature. So, a cat, or which one is this one on the couch here? Who's this? Carlito. So
Is this
Carlito,
Carlito?
he could benefit
Carlito.
from the
Yeah,
250 strength because he's so small. If he didn't have any issues.
yeah,
Now, if Carlito is manifesting seizures, now that's more of a severe issue. So we should not look at how small he is, and we should use something that's got some teeth and some power to go after this thing that's trying to take him down, right? So that's kind of the way we approach this.
Mm.
We do it kind of in this cavalier way with confidence that this is zero toxicity. There's absolutely no way to overdose on this. If too much got into the system, they would simply eliminate it, and it wouldn't have an adverse effect on their kidneys or their liver or their brain or their blood or anything else. They are safe with this, and with the coconut oil as well and the cranberry seed oil. So there's nothing in this that if they had quote unquote too much, if the bottle fell and they drank the whole thing, there would be maybe some loose stool as we were eliminating what was not necessary, but it would not be a toxic
Right.
effect or crisis. So we go into that knowing that, okay, this is
wow,
safe. We can't do harm with this. We can waste it, but we don't want to do that. So usually for the golden retriever size dogs, the boxers, and anything in kind of that way. We usually steer them towards the 500 milligram. Um, the larger dogs, the Great Danes, dogs like that, the 1,000 milligrams, a better place to start. Just to have a little more firepower based on their weight, and you're not having to give them as much material. So, but really, it's about
Yeah.
finding one's daily ideal dose, and it really is a daily thing. This isn't
Yeah.
something that we turn to when we have a problem, or when the Fourth of July is coming, or when the monsoons are happening. We do this all the time for total cellular health. And hopefully, one of the benefits you see is a calmer dog. So when the fireworks go off, he's not freaked out, because on a cellular level, he's being nourished and he's
Yeah.
calm,
Yeah.
right?
Would you say like if you had a big dog and a small dog, you could just use 1,000 milligram and kind of just not as much? Obviously for the small one, is that kind of, or you could
Absolutely.
share it for
Yeah,
multiple
and we've got a
dogs too?
graduated
Yeah.
pipette on
That's
our droppers, so you can kind of gauge, quarter dropper, half dropper, and it kind of, you can daily go to, I know I go to the second drop or second line, for this dog. Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
And we have a lot of pet owners
Yeah.
that buy the
Makes
higher
it easy.
milligram strength, as a multi-pet family, right? So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's kind of like buying bulk anyways, in a way,
Yeah,
just like to help
exactly.
people understand a little bit, like when you buy a 500 milligram bottle versus a 2000 milligram bottle, it's not like you're going to get this like super stronger, like, potency. It's more like you're
Yeah,
just have
and
a
it
lot more
would
in the
be,
bottle,
four
right?
times as potency. So you'd take a quarter of what you would
Yes.
take from the 500. Yeah, yeah.
That's what, yeah.
It is.
Yep.
But
That's
as
kind of
far
what I
as
meant. Yeah.
like
Obviously
a
potency. Yeah.
taste or a smell, you would certainly notice a difference. But you
Yeah.
just
Yep.
vary how much
For sure.
volume you administer. Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. For all the ones out there who need
it
to, I
is.
mean, it is like a learning process with it. And that's why
Yeah.
I think that it's smart to just kind of to get all your information, and then you can start, easily starting, but
If you want to get your
um
hands on
That's
them, you
right.
can check them out in our store.
yeah, we do carry
Yeah,
it,
Well, yeah, we
and
carry you
pure
guys.
positivity. And
Yeah.
also you were talking about your droppers, and like just like I wanted to touch on that because I wanted to say you guys do such an awesome job with the elegance of the product. You really think of like everything for the customer, which is I think really important. We've carried different CBD products in our store, and we've had our own CBD journey through our lives, and we've had some of them that don't even have directions on the bottle, some that don't have any markings on the dropper. Just like the little things count is all. I'm
Yeah.
just
thank you
saying
for
you guys do a
noticing.
great job.
Yep.
You know, we're artists and people who are particular about what we put out, and not just artists, but that's part of what's on our mind. And it needs to visually look,
Yeah.
clean, and you need to understand what's going on, and you shouldn't have to wear glasses to read the bottle. Right?
Yeah. No,
Agreed.
you did a good job. Attention to
Thank you,
Yeah.
and I
detail, A
Very well
appreciate
plus. Good
that.
said.
job,
Yep.
man.
Take that.
100%.
That was really, again, back at
Yeah,
this
right on.
transition time for us. That was one of the things that we saw happening in the industry. Also, was, I don't understand what's even in this bottle. When I'm looking at other products out there, I'm like, what is really going on here?
Yeah.
So, I want for my customers to see
Right.
my bottle on their favorite store's shelf, and across the
Mm-hmm.
room, and be able to say, that's the one I want, because I can see what it is. It's got the red 500, or the
Yep.
green 1000, and so it's color coded, and
Yeah.
Yep.
we have the
That's what's up.
hand icon for
Smart.
humans, and the paw icon for pets, and a little inside story. It's all the same stuff.
Right? Okay.
That's
Yes.
right.
We all
And
have
there's nothing in
endocannabinoid
any of our
systems, man.
products that are
Yes.
going to be adverse for humans or for pets. It's good for all of us. So, and it's all made with human grade certified organic products, and a dedicated kitchen for this. This isn't something that we're doing in our kitchen and then making dinner, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
It's very professional. You
yeah,
can
you guys
tell.
are.
And I mean, it's one of those things where we talk about like will a lot with raw feeding, with anything really, but just having the will to stick with something long enough to see it out, and that's something that you have to do with CBD. You have to do it with business, And you can tell that you guys have done that as well, because when you stick around long enough, that's when you get those little intricacies that make you're like, hey, I can this needs to be changed because you've seen it enough times, and you can tell you guys have been doing this, and you've got enough reps in.
Well, thank
It's
you.
just a beautiful product, really is.
Business really is the art of problem solving, and you guys have taken on the problem of
Yeah.
pet lack of wellness, right, by providing pet wellness. And when we're tooting the same horn over here, it's just we do focus on the humans and pets, and it's for everybody. But yeah, that's
For sure.
I mean, yeah, it's a totally mirrored situation. I mean, I say it all the time because it really is,
Yeah.
but it's not just something we need to hear it a million times so that we can realize it's actually true. I mean, let me just ask you this. Would you say calmer
absolutely.
humans have
Yeah, we
calmer
kind of tailed
pets?
off of we started into that a little while ago. And yeah, I was going to say anxiety is number one in pets. And I do link that straight back to the pet parents. You know, folks, we got to get a handle on our
Yeah.
anxiety.
I mean,
you know,
it's science.
and most of our
Right.
anxiety
We really do.
is just fabrications in our own mind that never manifest anyway. And so, if we can get a handle on that and kind of
Yeah.
corral those wild thoughts that tend to cause our emotions to go haywire, then that's huge, and CBD plays a role in that. You have to bring a desire to it as well. Nothing just happens to you. You choose to say, I'm not going to go with anxiety's suggestion anymore. But CBD has definitely been a tool that's helped me on my journey because I know a lot about anxiety, in my history, and I know a lot about pain. I was a builder for 30 years, and so lifting, pulling, tugging, straining, all of it, it has transformed my carpal tunnel. It's transformed my lower back pain, um, my digestive system. I used to have horrible, tied to the anxiety, stomach pain at night, and I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
It's gone. And that's something I've had since childhood. Because I was looking at the world going, what in the heck is going on here? you know, and it hit me right here, and I carried it from the
Yeah.
time I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and CBD has been one of those things that helps to
Yeah.
kind of melt that and just allow me to make a decision that that's not the only choice. Right? It's like an awareness that I can make a choice beyond just this pattern of being anxious. So I think it goes back to cellular communication again. It's helping on a cellular level my cells to communicate, and they know the truth. You know.
Yeah.
Our bodies do.
Yeah.
Our bodies know more
Yeah.
than we do. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Nature
Exactly.
never lies.
So,
Yeah. I don't know where I heard this. I heard it somewhere where it was talking about anxiety and depression being like when you're spending too much time living in the past, and anxiety being that you're spending too much time living in the future or focused on the future. So a
yes.
lot of scattered focus is kind of the problem. And we talk a lot about it here that our pets, when you're really with your dog or your cat, you can't really have anxiety or
Yeah.
depression because you're
That's right.
present. So I think that that's just kind of one of the things that we love to let people understand, that it's really not something that they don't already know. They already know all this stuff. We're not teaching them anything that they don't know. They all know that their nervous systems are dysregulated right now, and they're looking for different tools out there that can really help. And I think that you guys have one of the best tools that's out there, like a really good, high quality, full spectrum CBD product is a game changer for a lot of folks out there who are just looking for something, a little bit of relief, even anything because
That's right.
Yeah.
chronic pain is no joke. I live it. I live it every day. And if you get just a little bit of relief, something just kind of lets your system jump out of that fight or flight, just a little bit of parasympathetic release,
Yeah.
it can really be a game changer for a lot of people out there. So getting this information out there is one of our main
Awesome.
missions
That's
as well. So
absolutely right. Yeah. And one of the things about this is it does require consistency, back to this being a daily nutrition. And that's one of the places people get it wrong too, is they try it a little bit here and they dabble with it, right? And really this takes commitment. You need to remember to do it,
Right.
or you won't benefit from it. It's not going to help your shelf, but it'll help you if you take it off the shelf and utilize it.
Right.
So it really does take that. And
Yeah.
kind of a cool story we have recently experienced was we had a husky living with us for a short time. and the husky came to us with injured hips. And every time she'd get up or sit down, she would let out a horrible husky howl that would just, ignite the whole room. And immediately when she came into our home, we began the 500 milligram coconut with her daily, twice a day. And twice a day meaning a full pipette daily, a full milliliter. It took 2 full weeks of consistent dosing, but we watched the dog go from not eating regular, complete anxiety and mood disorders, fighting with the other dog, squealing when she got up and down, squealing when she'd walk through a doorway because she would have fear of touching the door jamb. So anxiety and neurological pathways of fear, right, built in. And so this is the dog we started with. At the 2 week mark, almost to the day, it was night and day. The dog came out of her room, excited for the day. She had an appetite. She was playing with the other dog instead of fighting with it. She was up and down off of the couch,
Yeah.
which we allow in our house. And without squealing, right, right. I'm in good company. No squealing. It was gone. It was literally gone. And including again, the mood
Oh, so
situation. She
awesome.
wasn't all edgy, and I honestly believe that we were watching neural pathways be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
and you're absolutely right. That's what was happening.
Yep, that's
Two
it,
weeks.
Eden.
Yeah, that's the
Patience.
thing. She
Which
knows
boy,
me
if
too
you,
well.
yeah, boy, you think gold is rare.
Right. Yeah.
Gosh. Right.
Yeah, I think that is a great thing to touch on though, because we even still have a lot of, I would say probably at least half of our customers who end up buying CBD are still using it situationally,
Yeah,
right? So it's like it's better than nothing, but I do think that they're missing the mark. And using CBD as a daily is, like you said, I mean, it just changes everything
Yeah.
for the whole body. It's like you're releasing. Tell me if this makes sense. It's like CBD is like a first responder. It's like first responders being released in all over the body, like really just reacting to emergencies and calming the situation down, not arresting
yes.
people, just actually
I love
responding
that
like the way
analogy.
that
That's great. I'm
maybe they
I'm
should
gonna
be.
I'm gonna heist that one from you,
Yeah, I
Bobby.
like
That's a good
that.
one.
Good.
I like it. Yeah.
Hey, there you go. First
Yeah,
responder
right. For
CBD.
sure.
That's a good
No,
brand.
and it really is. What's that?
It
They could
doesn't.
use it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. And we do
I
have
was saying they
some
could use
first
it.
responders, not enough,
Yeah.
who are
Yeah.
utilizing our
Yeah.
product, and they can still pass their UAs. It's okay.
Sure,
Exactly.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's we were told that on our last podcast that we did with Dr. Rob, and he was talking about it because we talked about CBD with him and mushrooms and the synergy between them and how strong that is, which it really is amazing. And he was talking about, with the broad spectrum stuff, you don't have to worry about anything, but with the full spectrum, I think that they
You would
actually
have to be
can test
consuming an
for that.
awful
I
lot
don't know.
in order for the metabolites to show up. And I
Yeah,
had in my
Yeah.
11 years, I've had zero
yeah,
callbacks.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's what I have to go off of.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, right.
Hey, that's
Depends on the laboratory, I guess.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
It's an interesting it's just an interesting landscape in this country right now, especially being a 90s kid growing up around the stigma and the illegal stuff, and then our parents being of the baby boomer generation, we deal a lot with them as well, and they don't completely understand it. They think that it's like just like marijuana, and
Yeah.
I think there's just a lot of confusion, and it's really unfortunate, right? So
Yeah.
that is one of the things that we love to just kind of talk to people about. So if anybody out there wants to get a hold of Caleb at Orozona or Talitha, they're amazing. Please reach
Yeah.
out to them, OrizonaOils.com. Stop into our store. We'd love to talk about it as
Yeah.
well, because the confusion is out there. It does need to kind of start to go away a little bit, because
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Well, again,
it
and
can
let
help
me
so many
bring
people, right?
assurance of my
And they're
11 years in this
yeah.
space. We had my grandmother on this until the day she died, my Hispanic adopted grandmother, to clarify. Wita, God bless her soul. She called these the miracle drops because here's a woman who was bedridden for years with lupus, with
Yeah.
MS,
Yeah.
with horrible cramping throughout her back and
Oh.
legs. And I got her on our product as soon as I started into this industry, and she called them the miracle drops. And she did that for a reason, because it made such a difference in her.
Oh,
And the thing about it is,
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
not a psychoactive effect like THC brings. And that's just to clarify on what you were saying, Bobby. This THC will have a psychoactive
Right.
effect on you and your beast. And CBD will not. It does not
Yes.
affect, it does not absorb into those receptors of the brain on a scientific way, right? Including, well, there's going to be
Yeah.
Okay.
trace amounts, but
Including a
not
full
enough
spectrum,
to
right?
tip the scales, as it were, and have an effect that
Yes.
one would notice. So, so you
Yes,
can
sir.
take a full spectrum CBD
Yes.
and drive and go to school. I service teachers and all kinds of people who are having to be on their toes and responsible on a daily basis. And this isn't causing people to have
Yeah.
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
psychoactive experience while this is in the body. Same with our pets. And in fact, this is the antidote to
That's
that.
great.
To know.
So let's just say that you have marijuana in your home,
Hmm.
and your dog finds your stash and gets into it. Well, CBD is an antidote to the psychoactive effect. So the thing to do would be to give a dose of CBD, probably a decent dose, and it would counter effect that psychoactive experience, and it would shorten it and it would diminish the effect of it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Really?
I had no
Huh.
idea.
Like snake poison.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had an incident with Rosa one year on Thanksgiving. We thought we were giving a CBD product for the anxiety, and it wound up being a THC gummy, and it was a rough situation. Her and the German Shepherd both were just like, it was like I spent my entire Thanksgiving just cuddling her because of that. And if I would have tried that, I would have tried CBD if I would have known that. That's a really great tidbit of
No
information.
kidding. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think the whole reason that happened is because they thought it was a CBD treat
Yeah,
for
they
a
thought it was
dog.
CBD to give her some relaxation
And
and
Rosa eats anything and everything, so we're like,
That
sure. And
ain't
then all of a
right.
sudden the reactions, we're like,
yeah.
that's not
And
good.
they are right. They're
Yeah,
definitely
Yeah.
right. The
And
dogs
it
have
won't
a very
hurt them
strong
per se.
reaction to
very
They'll go
strong.
THC,
lazy.
like
They may
very
Yeah.
strong.
make a mess as they're zoned out, lose their bowels. Yes,
Yeah.
it can.
They can get
It
scared,
absolutely.
they get scared, and that's the only thing. And that, of course, can turn into, things of, nervous. They can have
Well, if they
seizures,
had
things like that.
genetic
But
things, yeah, issues
I
on
just
top
like
of
to make sure
but
that you could cover all the things that can happen and not say
yeah.
like never gonna
Yeah,
happen
that's
because
right.
everything is
No.
nuanced.
Yeah, gosh. It's so good to know about you can turn it around to
That
CBD
is
like
that
that.
is a
That's
great tidbit of
awesome.
information though about the CBD being an antidote to I think a lot of
Yeah.
people have had that situation
Oh yeah.
No, for
unfortunately
sure.
or
Yeah.
for some
So
reason.
utilize that one. And,
Yeah.
if you're in that situation, don't be scant with the dose. Go after it like you're treating a condition and not just, dosing by weight, Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's good. I have one more question for you to kind of like because I do like again, people are just confused. They're confused on what to do for themselves. They're confused on what to do for their pets. So, in a concise of a way as possible, if somebody has never got CBD before, how do they go out and actually source like a high quality
Well,
CBD
that's a
product
difficult
for them or
question.
their pets?
But I would begin with looking in your local area and finding a health food store or a health pet store like what you guys are providing. Some store that is focused on health. And hopefully they have done some homework and only let through the door what qualifies as health food in their estimation. Again, you're relying on other people's research when you do that. The very best thing to do is do some of your own research. Um, but I would say that if you're looking for a product that's going to make a difference and you are researching it, it needs to be a full spectrum hemp extract. It needs to be minimal ingredients. It doesn't need to be flavored like something. It just needs to be two ingredients that go to work and do the best they can. Um, and that's really what it comes down to. Once you get into the isolates and the flavored stuff, it's anybody's guess what really is going to happen, what the results will be. Um, so yeah, I would start by asking some of your local health food providers, quote unquote professionals, what they have to offer. Because Orozona is not the only option. I think it's the best one, but that's just my opinion. you know, and I have access to it.
Hey, yeah, I mean, I
As you
was
should. Yeah,
no,
exactly.
that's a really good answer because I think that
Yeah.
a lot of a lot of
Yeah.
what we do in general starts with asking questions. That's just where you got to start. You guys got to start asking questions, learn some discernment, kind of how to make your own decisions and choices,
And
learn
they
people
should
you
be
can
Yes.
able to
trust.
reach out to the companies directly, you would
Yes.
think, and be transparent
Yep.
like you are. And so
Yep.
I think that's a huge thing that
Yeah.
goes for anything ingredient wise, even with your foods
Yep.
and
If
dog
you can
foods, if you can
call
do
a
that.
company
Yeah,
and
that's
they will
right.
answer your
Well, and just to
questions,
double
then
tap
maybe move
that,
on
we
to the
do
next one.
have
Might be a
our
red flag.
COAs on our
Yep.
website. We just did some refreshers in, I think it was February of this year. So we have something there representing what we're doing that shows that we're clean, that
Okay.
shows our levels of CBD, levels of THC, levels of
Right.
all the stuff. So
Yeah, and you
Awesome.
guys really you don't skimp on any of that stuff. I mean,
yeah,
being it
well,
organic
we
and
figure if
everything
we're going to
else,
do
there's
this, we
no
may as
joke
well
there.
do it
So
right.
Thank you.
there's that. We love
Thank
you
you.
for that. We love
Yeah.
you. We
Heck
applaud
yeah.
you for that. And I mean, on that note, man, you guys are amazing. Truly, like all those things that you were talking about in a high quality CBD. Go to OrizonaOils.com because
Yeah,
those are the best oils you can. They ship. If you ship, right? Yeah, right on. So there you
Cool.
go.
Yeah.
That's going to be the place where you're going to find the best quality, like CBD oil, full spectrum that we've found out there on the market, and we carry it here in our store because of that. So
Mhm.
we're really grateful to have you on today, Caleb. It's
Thank
been a
you.
lot of fun. We're going to have you on again, and then we're
Yeah.
definitely going to be
awesome.
in touch. We'll be seeing you soon here in the
Yeah,
valley.
Oh, come into
yeah,
the positivity room and jam out. Bring your
Yeah,
I love it.
I mean, or your
Let's
cajon.
do
We could
it.
jam
Oh
again
yeah.
anytime.
Leave for instruments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but tell everybody out there like just a little bit about
Oh
like
my
where to find you
goodness,
if you have anything coming up
not
at
off the
all.
top of my head. Yeah, the most immediate is we're going to take a little R&R,
Okay,
Okay.
and evacuate the heat for a minute, and then come back
good.
refreshed.
Good.
Good
That's
for you, man. You've earned
I
it.
yeah,
certainly
that's
will.
important.
Thank you.
And
I
give food
appreciate you
our love
guys.
as
And
well.
again,
Yeah, for
without
sure,
people
man.
like you who are
Mhm.
willing to
Right
take
on.
Absolutely.
the risk of dealing with, some one-off brand like ours, we wouldn't exist. It takes people like you who are willing to go, you know what? This smells
Yeah.
right. My discernment says this is good, and I'm going to try it. And then, wow, positive experience. Hey, this is good. But it takes that. Otherwise, we'd just be out here using it for ourselves and our own animals. You know, it's
Right.
Yeah. Well, we use it on all of our
awesome.
pets and,
Well,
and
thank you
ourselves,
guys.
so
Yep.
we're big fans.
All right, ciao.
Yep. Thank you. We'll
We'll
see
see
you
you, man.
later.
Welcome to the